What does keep you up, and what do you think is still the one issue or maybe a few issues that still concern you when it comes to healthcare?
Oh, there's so many, and kind of my answer varies based on kind of country context. But just here in the United States, and one of the things that I think is underpinning so much of what Randi talks about in her book, and also has been talking about here tonight, is we do have just an absence of health literacy and scientific literacy and data literacy in our country. And so that I think even people who want to be able to navigate often complex, contradictory, challenging information from a variety of both, I would say, authoritative and not sources, don't even know how to distinguish which are authoritative and which are not, don't know how to kind of translate what they're reading into kind of their own lives or their family lives to make kind of the best data-based decisions for their health or the health of their families. And I think we see this so acutely right now in our debate over vaccines, which I do find very painful from a public health perspective. And also very just painful from a personal perspective, because I remember, as I've shared with Randi, I remember my grandmother, my mom's mom, talking about how proud she was when her children got vaccinated. And she remembered like waiting for her kids to get vaccinated, against polio, against smallpox, something that the first, hopefully, we will eradicate in the near future, and the last, which we declared victory against in 1980. And just the fact that like we are not only relitigating, but in some ways dismissing and denigrating not just the science, but the progress in public health, kind of for us to get to where we are, kind of in the world of vaccines, is something I find very upsetting. And yet I also find it encouraging that with the measles outbreaks around our country, including here in New York City, we do see vaccination rates rising. I mean, in Oregon and Washington, we've had 4, 5, 6 times as many people getting vaccinated in the last couple months after the recent measles outbreak than in the kind of couple months preceding that. So I'm hopeful that now that these kind of, deeply serious infectious disease threats are coming back, while I wish that kind of they hadn't needed to come back, it hopefully will spur people to action. And yet I still think we have these larger questions of how do we help equip people, not only in institutions like Columbia, but really at the elementary, middle school, high school level, and other civic and public forums, to be able to make not only what they feel are the right choices for themselves and their families, but what they know from an evidence and a data perspective are the right choices for themselves and their families, whether on something that I wish were really kind of quotidian like vaccines, or something that is really evolving science, like everything that Randi talks about related to hormones.